Hi everyone, Tom Slavik with Susan Manning from the Feed Barn and other things, and glad to have you on board again, Susan. And I just want to go a little bit. Let's go a little bit back about your history. You moved to Amador County when?
In 1994.
Okay, but you lived in Calaveras a little bit before that.
Yes, since 1988.
Okay, and I had the nerve to ask you, like, when did you have your accident?
In 30 years ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
30 years ago.
84.
Okay, so I've always known you as like I think you're just a tremendous person to be able to get around like like nothing happened. I mean, obviously something did happen, but I just want to commend you on that. And I don't know. I guess I have a way of just going to the obvious. But anyway, Susan, like you've been with APAL, Tri-County Animal Shelter, in that mix of people that love and care for animals. And I guess that's a reflection, obvious of you, like with the Feed Barn, you sell foods and things for all of the different kinds of animals, like the ranch, domestic, and wild animals as well. And so I guess your love of animals brought you to what you do?
It did. One of the things that the former owner said to us was that animal people are great people, and so you're going to really enjoy this store. And we have. We really have.
So that was new to you to go in a business of owning a feed business?
Oh, absolutely. We've been in retail for our whole lives,
Okay.
but not a feed store.
Okay. All right. Well, there's been a lot of changes, and there's a lot of changes that are going on. And one might even ask, do we need a lot of changes? Because I think we've probably been like the poster child county for doing so well with adopting animals and taking care of animals. In fact, I know that like we sometimes get animals from other counties and adopt them out. So we're even helping out other communities as well as our own. But everything that's good still tries to get better. And you've come up with not necessarily you, but the whole group of a great thing, a new web page. Mm-hmm. That's kind of an over umbrella, which what web pages wind up being, so you can go and get all this information. Now, tell us, the name of it is pawspartnerships.org, pawspartnerships.org. Tell us what all that umbrella covers.
Okay. It's pawspartners.org.
Okay.
And what it covers is an alliance between APAL Humane Society, Tri-County Wildlife Care, and now the shelter partners. So what we're trying to do is partner to do a better job of saving animals.
Okay. So how does that work, that you're able to do a better job? There still is APAL, Tri-County, the Animal Shelter,
Right.
and I guess a group also called the Animal Shelter Partners.
Right. Well, what it means is that we're pooling some of our people resources and trying to do a better job of promoting what we're doing, because you can be doing really great stuff, but if nobody knows about it, then it's not nearly as effective. For instance, our cat save rate is 92%. So 92% of the cats that go into the shelter make it back out again. In 1988, we were 15%. So we've come a really long way, but when you get into the 90s and you're trying to save them all, which is our goal, it's difficult. It's pricey and it's difficult.
Last 10% is really, really hard to chip away at.
It is. It's really hard. So it means that we have to be really good partners with the shelter. They do the work, we do some of the job, and together we do a better job.
Okay. So from what I understand, if a person was looking for, say, APAL, and if they would put that in their search engine, it's going to wind up on, I have pawspartnerships.org.
No, it's just pawspartners.org.
Okay. All right.
pawspartners.org. And if you look for Tri-County Wildlife Care or you look for APAL, you'll get directed to that website, and you can find information about education, programs that we have. You can even print a spay-neuter certificate for money off on a spay-neuter of a dog or a cat on that website.
All right. Okay, so some of the things that are down on the side, some of the links, you have a thing for quick links, the Webmaster's Corner, events, we'll get to events, leadership opportunities. What are some of the leadership opportunities that one would find if they clicked into there?
Well, if you look at leadership opportunities, we always have room for creative people on our board of directors.
Okay,
And we can always use more volunteers. The jobs that we're looking for are fundraising, and that's really a big one for both groups, is people to help with fundraising.
okay. Since you brought us to fundraising, I had a question. I was curious, like, how much money does it take to run this operation? And how would we break it down if we did?
If you
You
look
might not
at
have-
Tri-County, it's probably maybe $30,000 a year. We're not paying rent now because the Baby Bird Nursery is at the corner of the Feed Barn Warehouse. APAL would be much more than that, simply because of all the spay-neuter programs that we have. But the Save the Kittens program, probably all by itself, is $60,000 because it's removing hundreds of kittens every year from the shelter, getting them spayed or neutered, getting them vaccinated, fostering them, bottle feeding them regular foods, and then getting them to the feed barn for adoption. So it's not cheap, and we always can use donations.
Okay, so you always can use donations, and
Right.
if you added all those monies up, it goes well over $100,000.
Yes.
And you get some help from the county, don't you, or do you?
No, we don't get any help from the county. No,
Okay,
we
so
are.
there's,
Right now, we're not getting any help from the county. The funds have run out for the low-income spay-neuter program, and APAL is continuing it. We probably will go before the board and ask again. The program that has been funded in the past by the county is the low-income free dog and cat spay-neuter program.
Okay.
And we were targeting that group. They have to show that they are, the owner of the pet is a Medi-Cal recipient. And then their dog or cat are spayed or neutered for free. The idea being that we didn't want the offspring of those animals going to a
Right.
shelter.
okay. The county pays for the animal shelter.
Oh, absolutely,
right,
they do, and they're a great partner. Yes.
And that, so, and when you go then, before the Board of Supervisors to ask them for funds, and that would be like for the program that I believe Richard Forrester was here and saying that you were coming up with that program, the 999, how we call it, the 999 plan.
Yes. That is a shelter program. It
Okay.
is. And basically, starting on July 12th, which
Okay.
is our shelter open house, the public will be able to come in and adopt a cat or kitten for $9. So the promotion is $9 for 9 lives for 9 days.
Okay. And each cat has 9 lives.
That's what we're hoping.
Okay, all right. And that's a great thing. So, and you're doing amazingly well with cats.
We are. We started a community cat program in 2013, and Jeff Holman's in charge of that. And basically, the cats that would have been put down in prior years because they were turned in a feral trap, we take them now from the shelter rather than just putting them down.
Okay?
And we've discovered that many of them are pet cats. They're tame. If you go to Paradise Doggy Daycare,
Okay?
they have Muggsy. Muggsy was a trapped cat.
Okay.
And once he was neutered, he's a sweetheart. But before he was neutered, he was wandering the neighborhood, and people were just fed up because he was fighting other cats and just being really destructive. So we're trying to give cats as great a chance as we can in our effort to save them all. That was
Okay. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
We're going to come back, and we'll talk maybe a little bit more about the cats. We want to talk, and then we're going to give some kudos to Jeff Holman, Jeff Holman Auto Center, who's a really big part of your program and
Yes.
a great benefactor there. Okay, so stay with us right here on TSPN. We'll be right.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN. For decades.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Tom Slavik with Susan Manning from the Feed Barn, but also from Paws Partners. That's the new umbrella group that holds APAL Tri-County, the Animal Shelter, and Animal Shelter Partners. All those groups are still those groups, but they have a larger entity to help drive people to their websites to show off and also to show off what they do, and also to share the people. Right?
Right.
And that's probably right after the money, that's the main resource,
It
isn't
is.
it?
It's the greatest resource, and the talent there makes all the difference in the world in what we do.
Okay, and talking about, spending the money, I mean, you can't help but talk about Jeff Holman, who, which you had just told me, donated an acre of land for, what's going to
An
be
Animal
there, right?
Services Center. We're hoping to come together with APAL and
Let's say that
Tri-County.
one more time, just in case, an Animal Service Center,
Right.
right
then-
next door to the Automobile Service Center.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, right now, APAL is renting space because we take the cats from the animal shelter that were turned in traps that would have been put down in years prior to 2013, and we evaluate them. They're spayed or neutered, their ears are clipped, they get a rabies vaccine, and they're evaluated. And what we discovered, surprisingly, out of the cats that we took from the shelter was that many of them were indeed tame pet cats, but because they were in a trap and they were in the shelter, they were terrified and they weren't behaving like tame cats. So we've been able to save a lot more by doing that, and we want a space, an Animal Services Center, where we can take animals from the shelter and evaluate them.
Right. And for those people that just have dogs, never had a cat, cats, they wander around. If they get out of the house, they can climb over your fence, doesn't matter, unlike dogs. And so they kind of have the run of the neighborhood. Maybe they get caught, like you said out there. Somebody sees a cat hanging around, they call, down to the shelter. The shelter will bring a cage. The pet winds up in a cage, and so a lot of times people, don't say we're looking for our pet.
Right.
Right.
It's more cats than it is dogs. More people reclaim their dogs than reclaim their cats. And I know I didn't think to look at the shelter, and one of my cats ended up at the shelter. So that's a good tip to go check the shelter, because the cat may have been turned in there if it's gone for a few days. But they do roam, and they roam more if they're not spayed or neutered.
Okay, let's talk one more time, and then we'll move on some more. But the 999 plan, that's starting on
The 12th of July, we're
Okay.
having an animal shelter open house. Dogs will be half price, which is about $42,
Okay.
and cats will only be $9. So that's a really great price. It's a limit of one per household, but the cats will have been spayed or neutered. They've had age-appropriate vaccinations, and they'll be microchipped, and that's just $9. And that'll go on for the 9 days following that shelter open house.
Okay, all right. Now, we talked a little bit about the future, and tell us about the Animal Service Center. What's the Animal Service Center going to be, Susan?
Well, the hope is that the Animal Services Center will be a joint effort between APAL and Tri-County Wildlife Care to house these cats that are in transition, and to have a baby bird nursery that is now in the corner of the warehouse at the feed barn.
What's the baby bird nursery?
The baby bird nursery takes in hundreds of wild baby birds where they've fallen out of the nest too soon and can't be put back, sick, injured birds. They all will come through if they're little guys. Now, many of the people who work with wildlife work in their homes, because we have to have special caging. So the owls and the hawks go one place, and the coyotes and bobcats and the squirrels, and different people with specialized caging will take those also.
Okay, maybe that's a time, too, we can talk about the foster care people. What is that?
Fostering is primarily kittens, but it can be dogs as well. And dogs who are undergoing heartworm treatment need to be really quiet, so we'll try to foster them out into homes, and frequently the homes become permanent.
So are those like dogs that you find?
Those are dogs that are at
Okay.
the shelter
Okay.
that have gone through the waiting period,
Okay.
and they're determined to be nice, adoptable dogs, but they've been out and haven't been getting the heartworm treatment, so they are tested heartworm positive. So we don't want to adopt those dogs out because
Right.
they have heartworms,
Okay.
and so they need to undergo specialized veterinary treatment for a specified period of time to heal.
So there's a program that people can foster an animal that needs some care like
Right.
that. Do cats and things come into that as well? Do they have things as well?
Absolutely. Cats with special challenges. For instance, one of them we took last year was really sick, and the shelter had tried several things and couldn't get the kitty well. It was 6 pounds in an adult cat, so it was emaciated. So one of our fosters took that cat home, and it's
Okay.
now 12 pounds and beautiful.
Okay, basically, I guess, is the shelter then, is what you're saying, what I'm kind of getting a picture of, that's where you want to have healthy dogs that can be adopted, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So that heartworm positive dog may go from a foster back to the shelter,
Okay.
hopefully, to be adopted. And hundreds of kittens go through the Save the Kittens program that happens to be celebrating 15 years and over 7,500 kittens saved.
Okay,
Yeah.
Wow.
And they go through foster care, and then they go to the feed barn for adoption.
that's just amazing. I want to tell everybody one more time, because I think it's truly amazing. About
92% of the cats that go into our shelter come out alive. In 1988, only 15% of cats and dogs. 87% of the dogs are saved as well. So we're working to save them all with the knowledge that we're never going to get there because some animals are, on their last leg, and the kind thing to do is to euthanize them. But we're getting more creative, doing more medical procedures, and really pushing to save as many as we
Okay,
can.
so if any volunteers out there, who would they contact right away? Probably just go to pauspartners.org.
Yes, yes, because we have a different foster coordinator, is Judy Hobbs.
Okay.
And then the animal shelter is always a great place to call because they'll know where the greatest need is as well.
We've got here a thing called a wish list. What would somebody find there if they clicked into the wish list? What are you wishing for?
Ooh, all kinds of different things. A freezer for Tri-County Wildlife Care, crates. We can always use crates. This time of year for the wildlife, we're looking for eggs and fruit to feed the baby birds, and worms. Sometimes people are farming worms. We can use worms.
Like
That's
chicken
what they
eggs
eat.
and worms?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And
Okay.
for APAL,
So that's
we
a good
feed-
place for people to go to look at what they maybe be able to
Yes,
donate.
yes, there are different lists for each group on that website.
Okay, all right. Now, we just have about a minute left, maybe two. The fair's coming up, and I know that you're always involved with the fair. The feed barn is, obviously, kids come on in there, and some of them get their animals probably from there. And tell us about the fair and what all that means to you.
The fair is a great place to go with the family and have fun. We have a terrific family-oriented fair.
Right.
And so we hope people will go support the kids who've worked so hard to raise animals, because a livestock project is a huge job and it helps raise responsible kids. They're raising animals and learning lots of different life lessons. One
Lots
of
of,
them, responsibility.
Yeah, the responsibility of caring for an animal is a lot.
It's huge, yes.
It's full-time.
Yes.
Because commitment to that animal, that animal winds up being dependent on you, not just a fair animal, but any animal,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so they learn that and learn the care of that. I know when I'm there, I'm always, you or your husband John are there, usually bidding on the little animals that you wouldn't think would sell for as much, but my gosh, the price they bring is
Huge.
it's really up there, meaning the rabbits
Yes,
and,
yes.
and the chickens.
Yes, absolutely. And those kids just work as hard, and a lot of times this is helping them get to college, so it's really worthwhile.
It certainly is. It's worthwhile and
And
everything.
fun.
So I think we covered just about everything. So I guess it's about time to say thanks for watching TSPN. My guest today was Susan Manning of the Feed Barn, and shop local when you can. That's a great place to shop, and believe me, that lady gives back. This lady right here certainly gives back to the community. So thanks for watching TSPN, and another hat tip to Jeff Holman for all that he does for the cats. What a cat lover. I'm Tom Slavic. Thanks for watching TSPN. We'll see you again next time.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.